Welcome back to the Project Management Fundamental course. In this module, we will continue to look at cost management knowledge area. So the project cost management has to do with the process of planning and estimating, as well as budgeting and controlling project costs. So just like anything in life you want to do as a project, maybe construct a garden, build a house, buy a car, there will be cost involved. And how you plan how you're going to spend the money and things you need to be able to ensure that you don't overrun or get a budget overrun or spend more than you need is important also in project management. And so doing cost management helps you a lot to plan and control budgets within the team during the life cycle. And you can follow a number of steps like planning the cost itself, which is plan cost management, then estimating the cost, where you estimate for each activities what you're going to spend, and determine the budget, which is like the overall aggregation of all the cost, putting them in the order you want, and then control the cost during execution. You monitor the cost and control it so that you don't spend more than you plan to. And it's also important for project managers to save money while executing projects. This is one of the main defining factor for performance evaluation of project managers, being able to save organizations cost. And in doing cost management, of course, in developing a cost management plan, this is part of the planning process group. And looking at estimating activity costs for each activity, it is also part of the planning group, as well as checking or planning performance baseline, in which you determine the budget. And then there are other parts like controlling the cost, which is part of the monitoring and controlling process group. Again, you see the relationship between the knowledge area of cost, all the things you have to perform, mapped to which process group it belongs to. And of course, for each of the process you take or steps you take in doing project cost management, they will all require inputs, and also there are tools needed and techniques you will apply in order to get the right output that you want. So if you choose to do the plan cost management, one of the input would be the project management plan and the charter to see what has been agreed on and how many activities have been done. And then you can use expert judgment and techniques, analytical techniques, and some meetings as tools and techniques to eventually come with a cost management plan, which will be the output. And then if you try to follow the process of estimating costs for each activity, then you also need the cost management plan, which you have made as input, and some other plan like the scope, baseline, and the project schedule or risk register to enable you apply that to some tools or expert judgment, and check and make decisions to come to some output like what are the activity costs. And so you kind of break the cost into activities, and then what are the basis on which you made these estimates. And so on, you can continue to things like determining the budget, where you add up all the costs, and in the end, you come with what we call a cost baseline, on which this is the estimated cost I hope to spend or use for the project or budget, and how are you going to fund them, and how do you update the documents as you execute. And then controlling the cost is when you start executing, you define ways to control that cost such that you can look at performance information, cost forecasts, and change requests that are coming, and how all that impacts your cost. Does it make sense to spend money on changing supplier because you have a problem with the current supplier that makes a part that you need for your project? Or does it make sense to accept the level that the supplier gives, which still meets the quality required? And these are things you can consider. So there is no black and white in project management. It's really situational and it's really challenging, and you have to be able to think around a lot of things. But most importantly, on high level, be aware of this processes that you use in managing cost and apply them intuitively and logically and practically in a way that helps you to achieve a better result. So thank you for listening to this video.